Well, good evening, everybody. We're with God, Guns, and Glencairns again. This is our third meeting, and we're just going to have some fun tonight. We are actually in the Rick Room at the distillery. If you can see the backdrop, pretty cool. Over 1,400 barrels in the Rick Room, between the Rick Room and another room we have here at the distillery. And we're filling 2 barrels a day. Are they still
just one
barrel a day?
Wintertime we'll do 2, but right now just 1 a day. So
it's a pretty cool place to come out here, and if you're ever in the area, man, we invite you to stop by.
Please do.
If you stop by here, they have a tasting room up front. This is not the tasting room back here, so we're legal to have guns in this room because we do not serve, well, just ourselves, but not the public is allowed back here much unless you want to take a tour. And if you ever want to take a tour, we have Mitch here who actually works here full-time. Colton drinks here full-time. Maybe Jared's the full-time.
I'm probably full-time. Yeah. I'll wear that badge.
Yeah.
And Will, he's just here every now and then. And
that's
and
a good healthy
I,
placement. Yeah. Every now and then is good.
Yeah, every now and then.
Every now and then.
And then I kind of used to work for the distillery kind of part-time a little bit. I'm going to start again probably at going on the road and doing some tastings and promoting their spirits. But just what a fun place to come and visit. And these guys take it serious. If you want good whiskey, and we're going to talk about some whiskey later.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, it's God, Guns, and Glencairns, and we're going to talk about God first. So let's just take a time of prayer, and we'll dig into this thing there. So, Father, thank you so much for these men that have sacrificed time away from their families and have just got together to open up the Bible, just to read a passage in there and talk about it, discuss it, and hopefully learn from it and be able to apply stuff to our own lives that as we leave here, we would know more how to live a life to glorify your name. Just ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
So we always like to kind of find topics that kind of would flow and get us into the guns and then the whiskey we don't care about. We're just going to get into that later.
Yeah.
But we're going to run out of topics in the Bible eventually where we have weapons, as you would call it. I don't like to use the term weapons a lot. I always think of it as a tool and have it handy if you ever need it.
Mm-hmm.
But we've covered a couple passages about Jesus and Nehemiah. And tonight we're going to head to Judges because tonight we're doing girls' guns. So we have quite a selection there, and we don't have any women here to support us in our thoughts.
They are very pretty.
But they're pretty. You can get really pretty guns. Pretty guns don't do a better job.
Nope.
So, but we'll talk about that.
I know that bluing's nice.
The bluing
does great, keeping oil in.
My only argument for pretty doing a better job is if pretty makes them carry it more, so they're prepared.
Absolutely.
That makes it do a better job.
Yep.
Well, the alternative to that is it's flashy and kind of distracting. So as you get it out, they might be like, I'm going to get shot with a pink gun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. That's because you're at that level of rude right now. Yeah.
If you have a spouse like mine, when she sees a pretty gun and she thinks she needs it, she feels guilty to buy it unless she gets her man one too.
Wow, that sounds terrible.
Yeah,
It's on a big deal.
Yeah. What, have you been married 6 months or something?
Actually, how long have I been married? I was married in 1990.
Why do you always do this to me?
You're my son-in-law. You're supposed to help me out with that.
Yeah.
But About 35 years.
Back when I was on the school board, you were on the
school board?
Anyway, we're going to dig into Judges tonight.
Just water.
Clean up aisle 5?
No,
Good.
no. Where's my
Good.
water bottle? Good. Sorry about that.
We're going to
No
dig
hurt
into Judges tonight. And so if you're wanting to get into that, if you're watching this on podcast, it's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and then Joshua judges Ruth. I always remember that as Joshua judges Ruth. I don't know what Joshua judged Ruth about, but that's just how I remember it.
Whatever helps it stick, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to go to chapter 4 in Judges, and we're going to read. But we'll just start reading. And we're, just a disclaimer right off the bat: there are a lot of names and stuff in here that we're going to butcher.
Oh, yeah.
How to pronounce them.
100%.
So just so you know that right off the bat, they're tough. So
Yep.
who wants to start reading? Mitch, you
I
start.
will, yep. So, starting off with 4. So, when Ehud was dead, and children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord.
So the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, who reigned in Hazor. The commander of his army was Sisera, who dwelt in Harosheth Hagoyim.
So we want to keep Caesarea, if that's how you say it, Caesarea.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah. I'm winging it. So
Yeah.
You're doing
judge me if you want.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
So he was the commander of the army. So we just want to remember that and keep that name kind of front and forward, I guess. Far away, Will.
All right. And the children of Israel cried out to the Lord, for Jabin had 900 chariots of iron, and for 20 years he had harshly oppressed the children of Israel.
That's a lot of army.
That's a lot of iron.
That's a lot.
Iron.
That's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Can you imagine living back in those days and that was your way of fighting? I think that'd been fun.
It'd have been wild.
Oh yeah.
Chariot.
Yeah.
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 There's a lot less smack talk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's get down to business.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to be said at that point, right?
Step out into the lanes here. We're going to take a round.
Yeah. Just chariots in the parking lot.
Mine's the one with the flames.
What's crazy is the archers from Chariots.
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
You can't imagine that's a smooth ride. It's
Oh, no.
solid axles, solid wheels, and horse drawn over rough country. So it's probably hammering, and you gotta.
Yeah.
And if you've ever held a bow at full draw,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know how
Draw
wiggly that
wheel,
thing
yeah,
gets.
man.
Yeah, and those weren't ones that had 80% release.
those
Correct.
were tough,
Yeah. Yeah. There's no giant cams on them puppies. It's just all man.
Uh-huh.
Pull back, yeah. Verse 4. Now Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, was judging Israel at the time. So when we think of Deborah, a prophetess, it's kind of interesting to see that throughout most of the Bible, God has given men the authority, to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But here he has given Deborah the authority, a prophetess. And while we're talking about that, when we get into the New Testament, I just want to touch on this a little bit, because in the New Testament, in Timothy 2:12, it says, "And I do not permit a woman to teach or have authority over a man, but to be silent."
Good luck trying to tell a woman now these days that exact same thing and get them to
Yeah.
right. You've come a long ways.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of discussion about that. Women preachers and women who teach men. How do you explain in Timothy?
Doesn't that seem like it's going backwards in progression?
Yeah, but I always worry about context, right?
Well,
When I
yeah.
always pluck a single piece out of the Bible,
Yeah.
I always worry about context of how that's played. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to assume to know all of Timothy there,
Correct.
but I do trust Dean implicitly in that regard. So context is always important when you're reading that stuff, and I wouldn't step out on the ledge to say it's backwards as much as it might have been in different contexts. And I liken that to
Fair
when I
point.
teach my private horsemanship lessons, I'm teaching with this horse and that student in mind, and the way they
Right.
learn and the references I can use that relate to that person.
Mhm.
If you cherry pick that and put it on the internet,
Oh, for sure.
I can get torn apart,
Oh,
and
yeah.
for good cause.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same,
But it's out of context.
correct. The same way we were talking at Bible study earlier in the week, we were talking about different meanings of words, that how it gets translated to actually what it actually is, and exactly to context.
Yep. So I'd have to look a little bit more into Timothy before I started saying we were going backwards.
Yeah,
But I think,
But it's pretty clear there.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
It's
trust
pretty clear.
for sure.
what he's saying is what's right. So I go
Mhm.
with it.
Right.
Move on. Verse
Yep.
5.
And she would sit under the palm tree of Debroah between Ramah and Bethel in the mountains of Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for judgment.
Yeah, so a little bit about that there. I was a little bit confused because we're talking about Deborah,
Right.
and she would go sit under the tree of Deborah, the
Mm-hmm.
palm tree of Deborah, between Ramah and Bethel. So Ramah and Bethel have to be two different cities. And what we've done, I done a little research on that earlier, and Brian Blessick came up with that. He found where it was just a single tree, and that's where she was always found, and everybody knew where to go to find her, under the tree of Deborah, the palm tree of Deborah.
So they named it. It was a landmark of Deborah.
Yeah.
The tree that just named after Deborah. Don't you dare sit under that tree.
That's Deborah's tree.
That's Deborah's tree.
Gotcha.
So in this Bible, there's a reference on that, and it sends you to Genesis 35:8, and it says, "Now Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried below Bethel under the terebinth tree." So the name of it was called Elon Bachuth. So I wonder if that's Deborah's tree.
That's Deborah's tree.
The holy tree where she's just
Where she was buried. Yep.
Wow.
Hmm.
Cool.
Then she was sent and called from Barca, and the son of, oh boy, Abinom from, dude, holy smoke.
You got the
You're
good
picking
one.
for it.
and Naphtali, and said to him, "Has not the Lord God of Israel commanded, go and deploy troops at Mount Tabor? Take with you 10,000 men, and the sons of Naphtali, and the sons of Zebulun."
That's a good one.
Yeah.
"And against you I will deploy Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude at the river Kishon, and I will deliver him into your hand."
So that there is the Lord God of Israel commanded. So it talks about that in verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord God has commanded, I will deploy Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army with his chariots, and I will deliver him into your hand.
Mm-hmm.
How cool would that be when we get in a fight?
Right.
Hey, go for it.
Hey, this is where you need to
God,
go.
When the Lord talks to you and says, just go for it.
Yeah.
I'm backing you up,
I got
man.
you.
I got you.
Yeah. This is what I need for you to do. You do this, and you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And Barak said to her, "If you will go with me, then I will go. But if you will not go with me, I will not go."
So she said, I will surely go with you. Nevertheless, there will be no glory for you in the journey you are taking, for the Lord will sell Sisera into the hand of a woman.
Then Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh.
And Barca called Zumbulam and
I love it. You keep getting these.
Oh, dude.
Sorry.
Dude. Naphtali and
I'm going to give more time.
Kadesh.
It's okay.
And he went up with 10,000 men under the command. And then Deborah went up with him.
So that's pretty cool that a woman
Yeah.
is going
Mm-hmm.
in such power with him.
And we're on 11. So
Yeah, 11.
now Heber, the Kenite of the children of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moses, had separated himself from the Kenites and pitched his tent near the terebinth tree at Zanaim, which is beside Kadesh.
And they reported to Sisera that Barak, the son of Abinom had gone up to Mount Tabor.
So Sisera gathered together all his chariots, 900 chariots of iron, and all the people who were with him from Harosheth Hagoyim to the river Kishon.
Then Deborah said to Barak, "Up, for this is the day in which the Lord has delivered Sisera into your hand. Has not the Lord gone out before you?" So Barak went down from Mount Tabor with 10,000 men following him.
And the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and all his armies with the edge of the sword before Barca. The Sisera all alighted from his chariots and fled away on foot.
So Sisera, the king
Yeah,
of that army,
Commander.
got
Commander,
scared,
yeah.
jumped out of his chariot, and now
Mhm.
he's running.
That doesn't make much sense.
On
Why wouldn't
foot.
you? Why
Yeah.
turn the chariot around and just go back the other way? It's going to get you faster, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like
But he's
It ain't
running
quick
on
to
foot.
turn around a chariot.
that's true.
Plus, I don't think they drive, right? They have a driver
Oh,
for the
that's
chariot.
true, yeah.
And the
Yeah.
fighter
Oh, yeah.
or the commander stands in the back.
Possibly could be,
Yep.
yeah.
So it looks like his
I mean, that's
whole
gonna be a
army got-
wide turn, but if you're in a formation,
You
you're
can't-
gonna be side to side. They're not gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
room to-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
you can't do
maneuver.
anything, right? So you're pretty much creating a wall at that point. And yeah,
Yeah.
What verse was we just reading in?
15. Now we're on 16.
16 now.
Is it me?
Yep.
But Barak pursued the chariots and the army as far as Harosheth Hagoyim, and all the army of Sisera fell by the edge of the sword. Not a man was left.
So Sisera is by himself.
Yeah.
He's the only one left.
Mhm.
So fleeing on foot did work for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it did.
Maybe it did.
However, Sisera had fled away on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, for there was peace between Jabin the king of Hazor and the house of Heber the Kenite.
And Jael went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Turn aside, my lord. Turn aside to me." So she knew he was a commander or a man of high status. Why would you call him Lord, my lord?
My leader,
Probably because she feared him.
right? Or at medieval times,
Right.
I guess a serf.
Right, yeah.
My lord was
Oh, yeah,
the lord
yeah,
of your
yeah.
of the
Yeah.
state, or
But she said, "Do not fear." And when he had turned aside with her into the tent, she covered him up with a blanket.
Then he said to her, "Please give me a little water to drink, for I am thirsty." So she opened a jug of milk, gave him a drink, and covered him.
And he said to her, "Stand at the door of the tent, and if any man comes and inquires of you, and say, 'Is there any man here?' you shall say no."
Then Jael, Heber's wife, took a tent peg and took a hammer in her hand and went softly to him and drove the peg into his temple. And it went down into the ground, for he was fast asleep and weary. So he died.
So it did not
That
work
was-
out for him.
did not.
It did
work out
not
for
work
him.
It did not work out.
That's
He was-
that's up close and personal kind of
Oh,
killing
yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
But can you imagine if you had one of them little pink guns over there or something, and how much easier that would have been than driving a tent spike down into through someone's temple and sticking him to the ground?
How much rage, right? Like
Yeah.
what it took, what took that? What's the
Quite a
history?
substantial
History
amount
of
effort.
Yes.
right? The
Down
history of what happened before we even know about right
now
now.
you kind of want to know, like, how many swings did it take to get all the way to the ground? You know?
Right.
How many licks does
How
someone
angry
have?
was
Yeah,
your
that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Was
I
it?
bet you it was 4.
You bet it was full.
Yeah.
I mean, she probably drove all those tent stakes.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Put that tent up, so
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
probably used to an activity like that.
Oh, that-
Well, it's
that
kind of
makes-
like an egg. Your skull's only hard on the front and on the back.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
So,
that's a
there.
good point.
The rest of it's just goop.
It's just there. Yeah.
So that reminds me of like when fleeing from the army. It reminds me a lot of like the Alamo, Santa Ana. He did the same thing, right? He ran completely away and was hiding in a field, and he was found out. But yeah, just something a little similar that I just
Mm-hmm.
clicked in my brain there.
Is it my turn to read?
No, I think it's me.
Yep.
Oh,
And then, as Barak pursued Sisera, Jael came out to meet with him and said to him, "Come, I will show you the man whom you seek." And when he went into her tent, there lay Sisera dead with the peg in his temple.
so on that day, God subdued Jabin, king of Canaan, in the presence of the children of Israel.
And the hand of the children of Israel grew stronger and stronger against Jabin the king of Canaan, and until they had destroyed Jabin the king of Canaan.
There we go. I'm sure we butchered those names.
Oh,
Would it be Yabin?
Jabin.
That's kind of what I was
Instead of
thinking
Jabin.
after we
Jabin, king of
got
Canaan.
going.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Yael, pronounced Yael,
Yeah.
spelled Jael, so Jabin, probably Yabin.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing, so if you guys are familiar with Scripture, when you see Scripture written like it is in chapter 5, and if you go look in the Psalms are all written like this. This is a poem
Yep.
or a song.
Mm-hmm.
That
I'm
is written
not
in
singing. I'm going to
You're
press
not
this.
singing?
No.
Yeah.
No.
we were setting you up, Songbird.
No. Not if you want these microphones to work.
But if you just read through there, we can do this again. Then Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinan, and sang on that day, saying,
Nah, I'm out.
I didn't bring my guitar, but we could have got something.
I got to tell you what, sir. I don't think there's a whole lot of good singers here.
Speak for yourself. I sound like a mix between Fergie and Jesus.
Yeah, I was going to say this is going to be like Velvet over here. We're gonna
I
have
am
to.
not.
We'll have to come back around to this after we get some more whiskey in here.
Oh
Okay.
boy!
So
you
you
want
know-
to lose some podcast viewers? We can just send this one straight to the depths right here.
The thing is, when this was written in Hebrew or Greek or whatever, it may have rhymed. I don't know if they had, if they did stuff in rhyme or not.
I think it was more in just a more of a chanting fashion than it was a.
Or a song. A lot of them
Yeah.
were passed down through song.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I wonder if it was just sang instead of
Sang. But you know, when we
direct
do
poetry.
songs here in this country, we have to do a song to where it has rhyme
Yeah.
Yeah.
to it. And
We don't always do that though.
Western music
Not-
is a
not
little bit
always.
less
Now-
rhyme.
Now, most of the
Yeah.
time, you
We're
try.
reading it in
Right.
English too, and then it might sound
Yeah, how
completely
many times has it
different
been translated and modified?
Yeah.
right? Like that's more.
Yeah,
It might,
you gotta look at it that way too.
But anyway, the song talks about chapter 4,
Deborah.
what we just read.
It's a song of Debroah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in verse 7, village life ceased. It ceased in Israel until I, Deborah, arose a mother in Israel. They chose new gods. Then there was war in the gates. Not a shield or spear was seen among 40,000 in Israel. My heart is with the rulers of Israel who offered themselves willingly with the people. Bless the Lord.
Yeah.
Then you switch over to 24 through 27. Most blessed among women is Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. Blessed is she among women in tents. He asked for water, she gave him milk. She brought out cream in a lordly bowl. She stretched her hand to the tent peg, her right hand to the workman's hammer. She pounded Sisera. She pierced his head. She split and struck through his temple. At her feet he sank. He fell. He lay still. At her feet he sank. He fell where he sank. There he fell dead.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to mess with her. Like, hey, you want water? No, you get milk.
Yeah.
This is some old school, like
Yeah,
some old school, right?
that's a woman with conviction, though. You
Yeah.
got to
Right.
respect that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what you're getting.
Then it goes on to talk about the mother of Sisera.
Yeah.
Like, hey, where is Sisera? Why has his chariot come back empty? And there's a little mourning going on there. But anyway, it's kind of cool. So anyway, that's a passage of a woman with a woman,
Yeah.
a couple women
Mm-hmm.
with some power,
Mm-hmm.
some godly power.
Absolutely.
God delivered people into their hands. And
Just
what did they have to protect themselves?
A hammer and a tent peg.
Right. Good grief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did it
Well,
though.
that takes us to the state of the country we're in now, where women probably feel more the need to protect themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
they never know when a fellow like Sisera is going to show up that's a bad dude.
And we have ourselves a little bit more modified tent pegs.
Yeah. These tent pegs move a
Long
lot
distance
faster.
tape pegs.
Yeah.
Those used to be called lawn darts.
Now we can't have those anymore.
They were too much fun.
That was back when fun was allowed to be had.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have any women here to talk about these firearms, But you know that we have quite a variety there, and with women having a lot smaller hand than most guys,
I
they
can't wait
need
to
a
hand these to
smaller
Colton.
framed gun.
Oh, shut up.
A bunch of pocket pistols.
Are these kids' toys?
Oh, that's cute. Is that Nerf? Oh, sick. Okay.
My bad.
The I don't know. One of the biggest issues with women and firearms is the able to, in a semi-automatic firearm, be able to rack that thing.
Yep.
These are all clean, clear.
Yep.
Unloaded.
Free. There's
100%.
The magazines are all empty that you
Yes.
see sitting there. There's no one behind the camera
No.
or anywhere this way. So
We take it pretty seriously about making sure we are safe when handling firearms.
Mhm.
And the one thing you guys got to remember too, right? Like we talked about this the other day, was guns like these are 10-foot guns, right? Your
Yeah.
accuracy is going your 20-foot range, like up close and personal, right?
Yeah.
That's
I call them gut guns.
That's
You're
what
pretty
you need
much
them.
just going to pull it out from your gut and shoot at somebody's gut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
this thing is so tiny.
Shoot at the biggest man.
yeah. Look up in the size of your hand, man.
Yeah.
Like
It's so
hold
cute.
it up. Yeah, that's a palm gun. Look at that. Look at that.
His finger makes it all the way to the end of the barrel.
You just
Pretty close.
So I got a question. When you stick your finger in there to shoot that, does it just go off? Like you just like
He just
bing,
Can you-
bing, bing.
It's stuck.
yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
Thank God you don't have to use the first knuckle on the finger, otherwise you'd be
Yeah.
in
Right.
big trouble.
This is a little
Sick.
SIG gun, a rainbow gun. This is my wife's gun. She loves this little firearm. And the main reason of that is because of how easy the slide works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that most women have a problem with, is racking that
Mhm.
firearm. And that's what you have to do the first time you load that firearm. You have to rack that baby.
Especially if you don't carry one in the chamber.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to be quick about that
Oh,
too.
buddy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Another issue is the safety, the lock that holds the slide open. Most of the time, those are pretty tough to move. Even
Yeah,
us
they're
guys
pretty
sometimes
flat.
have a tough one.
Mhm.
But this one is so easy to move. Once they get it racked,
Yeah.
it goes in there.
Yeah.
But and while we're talking about that, this is what I see most. Not only just women, but it's even some guys when they're hanging onto a firearm and they go to release that slide to put the first bullet into the barrel, they'll hang on to this.
Yep.
They'll release it and they'll let that down easy.
It doesn't work like that.
You gotta
Not
see
what
it.
it's
Not
not
work.
what it's designed to do.
No.
Yep.
No. If you can take that and pull that down and let that slide on its own, it does its job.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it doesn't seat the bullet down in
You
there
got to give her the old.
like it
Mhm.
should. Yeah, you have to hit the back of it to get it seated in there. So
If
pull
everything,
through, let them slide.
if it's quiet and you don't have one in the chamber and you rack that and that person is
Yeah.
is close, they are okay. They know what that sound is. That is the game that they're playing. That's
Yeah. Just ever so, and then just
Yep.
give her that good tug and get her seated.
Slap
Yeah, that's
rack
a good
mag.
point, though. Yeah.
that's cute.
We have a couple revolvers out there. We do not have one that's hammerless.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
peeking just a second ago, and that's
No.
what I was looking for.
I don't have any of those.
Yeah, and I was like,
It'd been nice if we had one.
Your wife's likes this too because it doesn't have a lot of recoil, right? For 380.
It's a 380.
Yeah, it's a 380,
And,
but the weight
It
I
just
think,
fits
keeps it
her
down.
hand really good,
Yeah.
and she can manage that firearm really well.
Yeah, makes you key lime pie. I was like, it's just looks like it's a complete fake gun.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
for-
all made with composite. It's
Yeah, for a 38
yeah.
special, like it's,
Well, I think the frame is metal. I think it might be an aluminum because it's so light, and then they wrapped it in that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
plasticky stuff. I'm trying to use nice words here, but
yeah.
I was going to call it crap, but it's
That
not
dishwasher
quite crap.
safe
But it's-
material?
yeah,
Oh,
must be Glock's cousin or something. I don't know.
Still not your hand.
Yeah.
Still does
I
not
don't-
fit your hand.
not-
yeah,
many of these
you're
are
not
gonna
going to
be
have,
for
this
you.
isn't a target-rich environment for you.
Here's the thing, though, with a revolver and women. I used to think that revolvers were the woman's gun, that this is what they should always have. Because a lot of times men or women don't like to leave a bullet in the barrel.
Yep.
And with a revolver, you could leave one open,
Yep.
and then you could set it down in there to where there's nothing under the hammer.
Yeah.
So you drop it or whatever, it does not go off.
But
No problem.
that's been the change in the evolution of revolvers, right? Because it used to be a pen hammer to hammer, but now there is a flat, correct?
There's a plate that goes up in there. If you don't pull the trigger,
Mhm.
that plate is in its place. When you pull the
Mhm.
trigger, that plate removes out. So
Like a hammer stop.
but that's
Yeah.
a mechanical device,
Right.
and still could fail.
Correct.
So, but I always used to think that a revolver being a woman's guns, because then they just pull the trigger, they're loaded.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is always loaded. When you pull that trigger, it rotates that barrel or that cylinder to a live round
Yep.
Mhm.
On a double action.
on a double action, correct?
Yep. To contrast,
So-
the one I brought last week was a single action.
Yep.
You had to pull the hammer back.
Right. Yeah. So this could be used single action.
Yep.
You can still pull the hammer back. And if you notice where that trigger went, I'm going to show you that again. You see where the trigger is now.
Yep.
And to pull this with a woman, I tell you what, I watched a woman using a revolver, and this thing has a 12 plus pound
Mm-hmm.
trigger pull.
Mhm.
Lots of work.
You know, and she's trying to pull that trigger, and she gets to shaking so bad. There's no
Yeah,
way by
no
the
way.
time that thing goes off, she's going to be hitting her target. If you have time and you can do it in single action, look where that
Mhm.
trigger goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you
Yep.
can see that, boy, that's a hair trigger now.
Yeah.
Now you're talking 1 to 3 pounds,
3 pounds, yeah.
to pull that trigger
Mhm.
to take it off. So I've changed my thinking on revolvers being a woman's gun. They work.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's very little to go wrong with a revolver,
Mhm.
but you're limited to how many shells you have. So if you leave one open, you got 4 shots.
Yeah.
Where with some of those other semi-automatics, you might have up to so that's another thing we can look at too with single stack mags. You're limited.
What was this one here? This one was
That's a 380, so it's probably holding 10.
It's a single stack though. I don't know
Yeah.
if we have any double stacks.
single stacks. Yeah.
Mine is mine's
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
that's the little one.
Yeah.
Show that to the
that's
camera. Show
11.
them the difference between a single stack and a double stack on the thickness of that mag. So in a single stack, the bullets are straight up and down on each other. In a double stack, they go back and forth, zigzag
Mhm.
down through there. So it's a wider grip. And some women with small hands and a wider gripped gun can't make it fit.
Agreed. I always laugh at the little tiny stubby barrels.
It don't
Is
matter
that
if
a
it's a gut
2-inch?
gun.
Is that
That's
2-inch
right.
barrel?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
No.
It's 1.5-inch barrel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
But I was just pulling that hammer back, and I don't know. Some women might have a hard time with that too.
Just even
Just to-
pulling the hammer back.
Just bring that hammer back.
Yeah,
so,
that hammer's pretty stout.
yeah.
But boy, that trigger.
Yeah.
Once
It's
that
pretty
thing's
great.
back,
Mm-hmm.
you're in good shape there.
Like I said, that's up another 10-foot gun, right? Like it's
Yeah. That barrel's so short, you're not going to get any good guidance on that.
Yeah.
And none of
projectile.
those sights, I don't think any of those sights can be adjusted, can they?
Nope.
No, that-
no,
that
this
one's not.
one's molded polymer,
Yeah.
and this one's probably glued in. I would guess there's no press marks where it slid into place. So
Yeah, because that one right there is 100%. There's no polymer. There's no
There's no change in the sights.
there's
on
no
those.
change in the size. There's no moving around. So what's that? That's practice, right? Like you have to shoot the gun,
Yeah.
get comfortable
Mhm.
with it, and that's what some of the classes that we've done, right? Like women are afraid of them, and you just have to like, hey, come on, let's walk
So
through
there's
it.
one thing, if you're not a Kimber fan, here's what Kimber has done in all their revolvers is their sights are adjustable. I think they're either dovetailed in,
Oh.
and some of them have an adjustment on the rear side.
Oh, what's her
All of the Kimber revolvers, I think, are that way.
grab
Have
that.
they gone
Is that a
that way?
Walter right there? That,
right here.
Yep.
So
Oh, I hate that
we'll
gun.
talk about that one. So that's a Walther.
I hate this firearm.
Right now, why?
Oh my goodness. I think so. To take this firearm apart, one of my pet peeves is I got to pull that trigger, and then there's a weird pin somewhere in here that I have to get out to get it apart to clean it.
Mm.
In addition to that, I'm used to like a thumb grip magazine release on almost all my firearms, left or right, doesn't matter. This one, you have to get on the trigger guard here, and if you're holding that thing,
It's clumsy.
it's not pleasant, and I'm so glad it's not my gun.
There's another one over there too that has that same mag release.
It's the wife. It's the wife's
it's
pretty
so
blue one.
uncomfortable to get to.
Does she use it? Does she like it?
No.
No?
No. She's got a revolver in the nightstand.
Oh,
But
reliable.
I hate taking this thing apart. And I'm not saying anything against Walther. It's just how this one was designed.
Walther
Not-
makes a good gun.
They
Yep.
make a great gun. It
They're
shoots great.
comfortable too.
Handles well. I hate taking it apart to clean it. And I hate the magazine release.
That's one reason why you never get rid of the owner's manuals.
Right? Right?
Just in case.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays you can use YouTube, but
You can use YouTube.
yeah, man,
Yeah,
those
yeah.
manuals.
Every time I have to clean this firearm, I have to get YouTube out.
yeah,
Because I'm like, how the hell did I get that stupid thing
Yeah.
apart last time?
those manuals have saved me plenty of
Yeah.
times in the past.
All
so.
most of my other ones are like that. My 6 hour, that field takedown, you just flip that little lever and boom, barrels
I
out.
do like that dual-sided safety.
Yeah, that is nice.
You
Left
know
or right handed, which
So-
is
so
which is the benefit
ambidextrous.
to this
Yep.
trigger
Yeah.
guard.
So my SIG that I carry, I was like, that's dual-sided. I was like that. I made sure that I had that
Yeah,
because I just, things happen.
right. Same with that trigger. The trigger magazine release is nice because it's dual sided. But if you're not practicing, that's a weird. For me, even with I have to bring my hand around
off your
more
Yeah.
than what I normally do
Yeah.
to get that to come out, and that's just
So how do you release that slide?
If you don't have any ammo in the magazine, you have to take the magazine out
No,
because it has a lock.
So what if you're wanting to load that thing and you have ammo in the mag and you shove it in there? How do
Yeah.
you load that thing?
Where's your slide release?
So you have to pull it back
Yeah.
instead of clicking the
Yeah,
sides
I don't
like
think-
a.
there's not a actual slide release on it.
So let's
That's
say the
one thing you
difference
just
from-
need to watch on every
Yeah.
firearm
Mhm.
is going to be different. What do you like?
It didn't even click that I did. I just
Okay, so let's say that's the same thing he's talking about there, the Glock, right? So now we're literally sitting there. The same button that he's having to. There's no button for there so he's having to pull this back to get it to go, right? So then now we're going to take this one and drop it. Now he's talking about the magazine release on that one compared to this one is just a button push, like some of the old safeties, like on your BB gun and everything, or this roughly
Yeah.
right along in that
Yeah.
side spot, right? Like
Yeah.
it's more habit forming that way for a safety. But in a Glock, there is no safety, right? Your finger is your safety.
Mm-hmm.
So
that one doesn't have a trigger safety.
sorry. This piece right here, that's the new safety, I guess. Yeah, I'm not a Glock guy.
That's the
but-
way Glocks are.
Well, we talked about it last week. It's
Yeah,
the
okay.
only reason why I know that.
Oh, right. But yeah, this is very pretty
Yeah.
for a
That's a
Glock.
daisy.
It's a daisy.
it's a daisy if you do.
Also, still way too.
You have to have the magazine in.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I'm just checking the different setups. I don't like that mag release at all.
Right.
It's not right.
I would get used to using it with this finger,
But still, you got to ruin your.
but
grip
I've
to
got
get
small
that.
hands, and it does ruin my grip still.
You have to ruin your grip.
I don't-
To do
I don't like it at all.
that.
But now training with it the same way, right? If you were to you've trained with guns like this and some of these ones over here, right? It's
You have to
more.
have the magazine out.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mitch.
Oh, yep.
That doesn't make sense to me.
It's a lock, so it locks the slide back on empty. You just can't let it go forward on empty without the magazine being.
So if the magazine's full, you can pull it back and it'll go.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it detects the bullet in the mag.
Yeah, there's a detent. I think
little
somewhere
spring,
in the back.
spring
yeah.
or something that's got to engage that spring to say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this opens this up. We can make things.
Well,
happen now.
I think it's the pressure plate in the magazine that pushes up against
Yeah.
something on the inside that locks it.
Yeah.
So
that
that's a double stack.
Give that one to Colton
No.
Or maybe
it's
that's
not.
one we was looking at.
Yeah, it's no. Why give that one to me?
to see if you can get that trigger.
Oh, what a
Magazine
mess,
ready to
dude.
go.
Good luck with that.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got small hands, and I don't reaching for that mag releases.
there's no
It's
slide box.
it's wildly uncomfortable because even when I use my middle
I'd
finger to
have to
grab
use
that
my
release,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't do it in a slick. Like I couldn't. There's no way I could get it with this fat. Finger.
Yeah. And I
And
don't
your
like.
pinky's under it, just about too.
Well,
right?
yeah. I mean, it's such a like. If I was to do that, I'd be.
It's just the
I'd literally
Yeah.
have to hold it like this and hold.
maybe
the
if you got
pinky
real
up.
long fingers, maybe smaller hands, long fingers
Well,
might
see,
work
I mean,
better.
I don't know how much longer.
Yeah, but if your hand was a little bit smaller, it might
Oh,
fit on the
thinner, you
frame.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
fit on the frame
Petite?
Yeah,
better.
if it was
Thank you.
thinner, it'd be all right. But
So from both those two pistols are completely different, right? I like a hammer. Right?
Yeah.
I like to have a hammer and know a hammer compared to a hammerless.
Hammerless.
Right?
This could be a striker. This
Yeah.
Glock makes a lot of strikers.
Yep. That's
Yep.
So the difference between a hammer and a striker, a hammer hits the firing pin, which makes the bullet go off.
Yep.
A striker, you're actually cocking the striker, so you're releasing the firing pin into there instead of a hammer hitting it. So that would be the difference between those.
Yeah.
But the thing I don't like about this one is when you go to the mag release, it stays in.
really.
It's not, there's no weight in that one.
Yeah.
It's tight. It's
Yeah.
Some
Well,
of
that
them
slide
might-
spring is pretty solid.
Little lube probably wouldn't hurt that either.
Cleanliness and lube. for
Yeah,
dropping a mag.
that was open. I noticed the barrel was pretty dirty on it.
You can feel a little.
The outside.
it
of
might have been
tension in
just
here,
shot
though.
the other
Yeah.
day.
No,
but
it was
you
the
can feel
outside.
you can feel a rubbing or whatever. It's not a. It's a good tight fit,
you
but
can see
it's
where it's tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can feel it as you move it.
But even if your gun has to be perfectly clean in order to use
for
it,
sure. Yeah,
that's
I
a
get what you're
downside
saying.
as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think you should be able to. Although I do like to keep all my weapons clean,
Correct.
you should be able to run it dirty for as long as you need to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until there's a physical impediment.
My grandfather had a 1911, a little one, about the same size as that 365. And what he did is he got some real pretty grips because it was a decorative piece,
Mhm.
also still functional. And he took the sides off to replace the covers to make it pretty.
The grips.
The grips. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Blanking for some reason. And when he put it back together, he had the magazine in there. And so he tightened everything back together, and he called me over this, and he says, "Hey, I can't get my magazine out." And so I went and looked, and I was like playing with it, and I was like, "What in the world?"
Yeah.
And so all I did was back those screws off, half a turn on each side,
first. We'll do this
and it let it just drop that magazine right
Really?
out. So yeah, I mean, be careful while you're, decorating,
Yeah,
making it your firearm. It's
Yeah.
important, but pay attention to random things like that because when you need to use it, you can't get a magazine out. It's not pleasant.
Yeah. No.
I do like this Beretta right here. I do like how that. What is this? A P100 Beretta, but it actually has the little slide-in extension, right, for Goliath hands over here.
That's not going to change anything for him.
No,
He does,
not,
right?
not on that. No.
But that's
It just means you'll be able to get 2 fingers on it instead of 3.
oh that's that same.
That mag release, that
Ooh.
awkward mag release.
Where do the engineers come up with all this at?
What in the flying squirrel?
Somebody's got to make their mark, and is what I'm guessing.
So yeah, it's very slim for concealed, but man, you're only using it just unless you absolutely need it. 'Cause
So most of these would be considered like a.
So does that one? Is that the one that has a little notch that you cannot push that down?
yeah, you can't get that unless you pull it this way and
You
then
got to pull it back and push your slide release down. Good thing we have carpeted floor in here.
don't do that. That's a pain in the
Is that
butt.
one yours?
Right.
Yeah, perfect. Sorry.
Just them sights.
Holy
She hates that gun. She doesn't care.
smokes.
We take that one to class.
Yeah, we hate
I
that gun
can't-
too.
Oh look! Yeah,
Yes,
it's 2
you know.
fingers.
And this is
It's like I do.
You were right. You were right.
Like there's so much about that is so clumsy that I can't.
Oh no! Here
How
we
do
go.
you-
Right.
Well, that thing won't go anywhere.
Oh,
It's got to
you gotta-
jump all the way out
you
of his
gotta
hand.
You gotta pull
You
it
got to
down.
pull it back and then pull it down. And then
Yeah. I don't know.
We need a
No,
little
you don't.
tether.
You just gotta have.
Wrist strap?
man hands, I guess.
Oh, there ain't no way that finger's
No.
even
Yeah.
like there ain't no.
That
glove
ain't built
fitting
for
in
you,
there.
fella.
No.
And if you're a
So
full-grown
tiny.
lady, you're going to have
Yes,
trouble
you
too.
can see that slide stop
Yeah.
or that
Oh yeah.
is angled back.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to take a pretty good.
It takes some pretty good force to get it.
Good grief,
Right.
that's a 2-thumber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then trying to fumble with
Yeah.
it. Just,
Imagine trying to do a quick reload and you're like,
I was
God,
just thinking
hang
that
on a
same thing.
second. I got
Game off.
Yeah, but if you take this, you take that out.
Hang on, one more minute.
Right.
It should
Just
release
bleed
it,
for a
right?
while.
So that'll hold it back. So if your magazine were loaded, I bet if you were to just, it would go.
Possibly.
Yeah, most likely.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
right.
We're not going to find out.
We can find out here.
Here's the issue: how are you going to find out that in a gun shop? Because they're not going to let you load that firearm
No.
in the gun shop to see how that slide works.
Right.
Which is where your
So-
gun shop would come in handy.
My gun shop, I want to be able to make my
Yeah.
gun shop to where you can come shoot a gun.
Yeah.
Before you purchase it.
Yep.
To make sure you like it and you're comfortable with
Buy a
it.
demo model of everything that you're selling.
Exactly.
Well, that might be
Either
tough.
that or sell them the one that
Sounds
I
terrible.
mean,
I have a lot of guns.
discount it. Discount it a little
Well,
bit. Has been.
yeah.
I mean, every firearm you get anymore
Looks like a phaser gun.
has been shot.
Like what the hell
They
is
take
that
DNA on that bullet.
This
Yeah.
is
On every
a
firearm anymore. So it's not like
Taurus.
you're buying a
Oh,
gun
it's a
that hasn't been
Taurus?
shot.
Right.
Taurus
Yeah, every gun's been fired.
Spectrum
Yeah.
380.
Oh.
That thing looks like a spaceship.
I just said it looks like a phaser gun. Like,
Yeah.
like something you'd see in like Star
Yep.
Trek. or
I can.
something.
They're gonna match a handbag to it.
Yeah. This one has an extension on the slide on the mag too.
Yeah, it's good for an extra, so you can get 2 fingers
I
on
mean,
the grip again.
Yeah, for sure.
It's even got a little spot for your pinky to tuck into.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I
Ain't that
don't-
nice?
I don't know if that pinky's gonna go there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mitch's pinky.
Sorry, that the pinky up.
Yeah. The one you carry up is the
Yeah.
one that you tuck in there.
Ooh, I can,
It does actually fit.
that
Mitch.
actually-
You're right. It actually
that
fits him.
actually fits us a little bit, right? Like, set your gun to stun.
That reminds me of like a 70s James Bond.
Right?
Huh.
That's a retro pistol right there
Yeah.
if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Which it's probably how many years old? A few years old maybe? It doesn't
Yeah,
look well
maybe
worn.
at the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be possibly 10 years old.
Yeah,
At
but that's not a
least.
1970s pistol.
No.
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 I just feel like that'd be like one of his.
It comes with a free installation on shag carpet.
I don't know.
Yeah, see,
That's cute, man.
and that one feels like I was messing with it when this one started going around, and that
I
one, like
can't-
everything just kind of feels sloppy.
I can't get the pinky on there.
I
And
would
my
rather.
finger-
I would pack that one if I had to. Between choosing the difference between those two,
you could.
how clumsy that one is to feel around with. To that one, I was like, yes, it's cute, but I was like,
I don't
it
actually.
would
know.
it would match my purse nicely.
You look like a white and
Hey, man.
teal kind of purse guy.
So that's actually a hidden hammer, which might be worth talking about. As opposed to hammerless or a striker,
Yeah.
that's a hidden hammer.
I mean, it's still got
So
the
who-
hammer. It's
yeah.
a double.
You can see where it
Double
comes
action.
out, but there's no tang on the hammer to work with your thumb. It just works double action instead of having a striker release like you were just explaining.
Or a hammerless.
Yeah, get some dirt in there.
So with semi-automatics, you can get single action and double action just like you do on a revolver. Single action does one thing: it pulls the trigger, shoots fires the ammo. The double action does everything: it loads, cocks, ejects. So you can get that in semi-autos also. So what that means is when that
Grab that other ugly.
when
black
you
one
get
and
ready to shoot a
yours.
firearm
Yeah.
and you're pulling that trigger with a hammer, you have to move that hammer every
Yeah.
time. That's double action. You have to cock the hammer and it releases it. Where
Well, I
single
think-
action happens when you slide it all the time. It cocks that hammer for you.
I think that one
13.
would slide it. So the first one would be a double action and then a single
Yeah.
action fire afterwards until you hit empty.
Yeah, so that's just something that, I mean, there's so many things within little firearms
Yeah.
that you have to look for to
Mhm.
find one you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going out, putting your hands on them, right? Spending some time.
Mhm.
Find one, shoot one that fits you.
Yeah, I always offer, folks to come. I'll bring my pistols out and we can shoot the selection of my pistols within reason, of course,
Yeah.
not running 13 boxes of ammo through one pistol. But
I just want to make sure it works.
yeah, just double checking the specs. Testing the lubricity of your cleaning process. Yeah. So like just have them try a bunch of different pistols so you can find one you like. I mean, I also typically offer most full frame guns
Yeah, that has a trigger lock on it. So you just
to buy them if people don't like them.
Brand new one.
No.
Yeah, so a lot of different firearms come with that, a little pin or a little screwdriver or a little something. This one has that, so you can turn that lock. So if you leave it somewhere, nobody can operate that firearm without.
So is it locked or is it
turning that
unlocked right now? Because I just squeezed it and it went, but it looks like it's supposed to be on the lock.
You got to rotate it, don't you?
But it's pointed at the lock. Oh, intuitively, I would think it would be locked.
Allegedly.
I guess it's a mechanical device that can and possibly fail.
You couldn't get the trigger to pull or what?
No, I can.
He's saying it's on,
But it's
showing
the way,
locked.
the way it's
Oh,
slotted
the way
makes
it's
it
slotted
look.
there looks like it's
Yeah.
on the lock position. I see.
So how do you confirm that without giving
Maybe
her a
it's been-
squeeze? Maybe, or it failed. Right.
Or both.
So pretty much at this point, we pretty much are covering the whole price point, right? Of higher ends, lower ends, Berettas. So this one right here that Colton brought along today is a M&P Shield. Very
The plus, yeah.
widely available, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 13 rounder.
They're our first double stack of the night.
Yeah. That Glock, the Daisy was in the double. That was a single.
Yeah, no, there was a couple that were zigzag.
Did they?
So man hands, I do like the M&P.
It's a takedown.
Right, I like the feel of
Oh,
it.
is that what that is?
Mhm.
Oh,
It's
It's
got
supposed
the
to be locked.
1911 components.
Once
Okay.
I
As far
it unlocks
as
that
breakdown
slide.
wise, right? But it is a
So
hammerless.
obviously
Oh, yeah.
I'm not using the right
Right.
tool.
Yep.
And then it's
Striker.
auto, it's on a
But for
spring detent.
striker,
Go back
but
to
for
lock.
me,
I see.
I like to have that hammer because I know at that
Yeah.
point it's ready to rock. I guess that goes to a wheel gun side of it where I like to see my hammer down, right?
Well, that one does have a few indicators on it that let you know that she's ready to go.
Yeah, you got a brass sight on the top there.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
If there's a
On the
bolt,
very
if
top,
there's a
like right here.
if there's a
If
bolt
you
in the
close that
chamber,
slide,
she's
see that
got
little
that.
arrow?
Gotcha.
And then you have a side detent or
Mhm.
extent, whatever,
The little bar.
on the right hand
Mhm.
side. So if there's
That
brass in
little bar
there,
right there?
that'll push out,
Yep.
so you can feel and or see. Some of them
Yeah.
have like a red marker on it.
Yep.
Yeah, I do like them.
Yep. I'm a huge fan of these because they fit my hand really good. But the best part is the wife absolutely loves it. So I can't say nothing else more than if she likes it and she's
Yep.
comfortable shooting it.
That's it. Done deal.
I mean,
right.
yeah, it's not a 380 or anything like that, but it absolutely does its job when it's in her hands.
That's the first 9mm of the night, right?
Yep.
Everything else has been 380.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
9 mil is the most
380.
Yep.
widely used round
Yep.
in a lot of countries.
And
Yep.
the trigger on that is actually the new and improved trigger that M&P has, and it's actually really crisp. There's no weird drag to it. There's no nothing. It's a nice, clean.
Somebody come out with the idea that a flat trigger
Uh-huh.
is a lot better than every other trigger. You know, a lot of triggers are
Yep.
rounded, and they've come out with a flat trigger now, thinking that your finger, because there's a lot of people, a lot of issues with finger placement.
Mm-hmm.
You always want to make sure you pull straight back. So revolvers, sometimes they say go in further. Semi-autos, you stay back out a little bit. With the flat
Yep.
trigger, it doesn't matter as much where you keep your finger at. But
Mhm.
the biggest issue is just pull straight back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That should be the only thing your right hand does, is pull the trigger. Your left hand should hold the gun where it's at. So all your right hand's doing is pulling that trigger.
Mhm.
But I noticed that had a flat one. It's
Yep.
got a safety on it.
It's
Also has a safety on the
also
slide.
has a slide safety. And yeah. Yep.
So
And it's a double stack 9, but it's not big.
Correct.
Right. It's comfortable.
Yes, it's a very
comfortable.
comfortable gun.
I have a Springfield XD that I carry.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hunting gun.
that we found that you lost?
Yeah.
You, Joe Pickett, you're always losing your guns.
Whatever. One time. And
That's
your
the second
story.
bus to run over here tonight, dude.
Yeah. His story.
How's
always,
undercarriage?
you know, you got to make sure when you set your firearm in your hat and you're taking a dump that you always put your hat back on. And I left mine on
No,
the back of
that's-
a toilet in church.
I did.
Things
I tell
happen.
you what,
One
when you-
time. Kid college.
Oops.
Yep.
That's an issue when you go, you know, we'll probably get into talking to holsters about holsters
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
But man, holsters are an issue.
Oh,
You go through a lot of holsters before you
I
find one you want.
I went through quite a few, from the leathers to the index.
Just
That-
feels so good in
where
your
they
hand.
where they
Yeah.
sit at.
I like the grip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a nice little piece to have on.
I
there.
could pistol whip somebody real good with that.
Oh yeah,
It's
Ain't
really
going
top
anywhere.
heavy too.
It
So I bet
is.
you with a full mag, it's pretty nice balance.
it's
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yep. And it's actually really accurate, like for it just being a little itty bitty barrel. I mean,
Yeah,
it's nothing. It's not nearly as small as some of these other ones, but it's
The longer the barrel, the more accurate.
yeah,
Yep. And those are adjustable sights too. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Right. So that's
Yeah, there's even a set screw for elevation.
Uh huh.
oh, that's sweet. No, the shield's definitely for all around gun,
Mhm.
user friendly gun for double stack.
Yep.
Very well done.
It's kind of hard to beat.
Yeah.
Especially for the price point. I mean,
Yep.
you're
Yeah.
looking at a $400 gun right there, and for the price point, you can't beat it.
Right. Oh, so this one right here, the Ruger, that's an LC instead of EC, right?
Don't even dare give that to me. Don't stop it. I can.
We're sending it. It's coming. Here we go. Look at that magazine.
So this one right here is pretty much what my wife carries. The EC and the LC9, it's just what that come down to was they're pretty much exactly the same, but they found a cheaper way to make it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
correct,
different,
right?
different equipment.
Different equipment. But it's a very solid gun. It's got the safety on the side, just one-sided for right-handed.
Mhm.
But
Is that 9mm or 380?
this one I think is a
I
9.
think it's an LC9, isn't it? Or an EC9, I mean.
EC9. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it looks like a 9.
Let the
yeah,
slide go.
EC9, yep.
Yeah.
But you can change out the base right here and get a little extension.
Can we get a double extension?
Well,
Yeah, they call those a 30-round mag. Just
Colton, I honestly don't know what will actually fit you. It's like
that one right over there.
that one will,
30-round
right?
mag.
Like,
I'm telling you.
so the ladies that have man hands,
What?
Whoa, hang on
full-grown
now.
ladies.
We got man hands.
Oh.
Goliath.
oh Goliath, that's true. That's true.
Every week like this.
Do you expect anything different?
Man, I guess not.
God,
I can imagine being hated for worse things than the size.
Well,
of
Yeah,
this is true.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that for a solid gun.
I've dealt with these hands on my life.
Ever since you were born, or what?
Oh, yeah,
man.
pretty much.
What's that new song, Daddy's Hands? It's a country song that came out.
Mm.
I don't know who sings it because I don't
Daddy's
know the names,
Hands. That was the original one from the Judds.
but- Yeah, and then they redid it recently.
I haven't heard the
I
heard
think
the
a fellow
remake.
redid it.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a double extender. Although the
At least a
pinky
triple.
does actually fit.
Right.
Wow.
Like, you can barely
touches.
get it.
Moving
But
on up.
there is another flare that comes off of that you can exchange that out to for like $5. That'll give that little bit longer reach for you.
But again, if you're concealing this, it's just one more thing
For sure.
that you have to
Yeah.
get used to.
Absolutely.
To catch
Right.
on and not
Yeah.
fit in your purse.
Yep.
Be in the way when it's in your holster, etc.
But those guns, like that's in it. The Ruger is in a decent price point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
for sure.
you're in
Oh,
that
yeah.
three. It used to be
Yeah.
$300 to $400, and I'm not quite sure in this day
Where'd
and time.
that shield go?
Right.
You're
Pretty
not.
close.
You're not talking a whole lot bigger on that shield.
All it is a little bit slimmer here, right?
Like-
I don't even
With-
know.
I don't know if it actually
I don't think
is.
it might not be.
They're about the same.
Yeah.
adjustable sight wise.
Especially
So,
with that Ruger having the
Yeah,
scalp.
so roughly, what's the price point on that
Slide.
M&P?
it's roughly 400.
400, right?
Yeah.
And I go,
Yeah.
you're you're almost right on point with that EC and LCs.
So we've got a pretty good range.
Yeah, we do.
We've got, I don't know what the cheapest gun is out here we got, but probably 250, 300 bucks.
Oh, we got to do one more.
One more?
Just because I gotta see this.
You got to see him put his hand on it.
Yep.
It honestly reminds me of "You'll shoot your eye out. You'll shoot your eye out." Like it's,
So most pistols at least feel like a pistol. I got to say, the spaceship and that one feel like a toy.
What is that?
Cracker Jack.
It's a little
Yeah.
LC9.
It's a little
Yes, it looks like it just came out of
Not
a,
LC9, LCP.
So it's a 380.
a cereal
Okay.
box. Wow.
We do have an LC9 up here, I think, too, right?
Isn't that it right here?
This is
A
EC9.
EC9. LC,
LC9.
So
yeah, the pink camo.
yeah, I'm it's a barely 2-finger, and my pinky isn't off. So Colton, that's 1 finger, and well, let's check this out. Come on, Colton.
Can you get your pinky in the trigger guard there?
2 fingers.
Come on, just lay it in the palm of your hand.
Does it fit?
No, 1 finger. So at that point,
That's what OJ wished that glove felt like.
Is that
clean and
control?
clear.
Is that control at that point? Right? Like,
Could I control this pistol with this 1 finger and my thumb? Yes.
Yeah.
Is
Yes,
it a
I
good
could.
idea?
No.
correct.
The finger.
You want
The
fitment.
finger does fit. I feel like it's not nearly as comfortable as any of the other ones. But could I do what I needed to do with this pistol? Absolutely, I could.
Is that a 5-foot gun instead of a 10-foot gun?
It might be a 2-foot gun, if I'm going to be real.
Right.
Like, it's going to be a here. Hang on, I'm just going to
that's a
move
skull
my
pusher.
coat pocket
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
You
But
probably
then again-
throw it real good.
Oh, man.
I bet so.
Here, catch.
Stand at the barrel.
Yeah.
But I mean, for somebody that I'm an oddity with the size of my hands, anyways.
Correct.
But yes, I could possibly hit a target at 5 feet.
Right.
So
With
in
that.
this room, you could hit a barrel.
Oh yeah,
You could hit the broadside
Just
of the
a
bomb.
I could,
from the
yes.
inside.
No safety at all on that one. Just your finger.
If you're drawing that thing, you better be shooting it because no one's going to take
You know,
you
I don't-
serious.
I don't like guns with safeties, really. That's just
No.
one more thing you got to worry about.
One more thing you got to remember to take off or
Mhm.
turn
I
on.
like the grip trigger safety
Yeah.
combo.
Grip trigger, yeah.
Dovetail.
We don't
Or
have any here with the
Either
dovetail.
one.
No,
The one that's got the
no,
lever
no,
here
the-
and the trigger lever.
The 1911,
like an
yeah.
XD.
And XDs have them.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. That's why the only reason why there's a safety on that M&P is because like the kids are always reaching into Brittany's purse to grab something or
Absolutely.
something like that,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like I told her, so you just got to practice like that, and I worked that safety a lot, like up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and would re-oil it and work it back and forth. And
But there's
you just got to get used to it.
some guns, right? You have to run quite a few rounds through
Yeah.
it to be able to get it to loosen up the way it.
Yeah.
A
Correct.
couple hundred rounds, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, just like any gun. Shotguns,
correct. It
rifles,
just
anything. Sometimes their tolerances are so tight.
Yeah.
The ARs we build are that way. A lot of times we got to lube the snot out of them and then just work them for a while
Mhm.
just to get them to set. And then you can see the little points where they start to rub, and then you put a little extra lube on those and get it
Right.
to work again. And then I do all the test fires. Got to make sure they work.
Yep.
If they don't work, it's like, well, tear them down. Let's
Yep.
check it again.
Yep. Start again.
Yep.
So are we over guns now? Are we done with that?
Never.
No.
But at least
Never.
for now, we'll
Okay.
move
Yeah.
on to the
For,
good
for right now, I go.
the next thing.
But any guns you guys find, feel it, touch it,
Rub it.
rub it, smell it. Just
Run it. Run it.
Run it.
Run the slide. Do everything else.
get comfortable. If you're not comfortable with it, what my dad always told me: if you don't pick up a gun and it does not feel like shaking hands with an old friend, then it's not the gun for you.
That's a good point.
Right? Like
Yeah.
there are certain guns and certain the grips and everything that make it feel
Yeah.
that feels really good in my hands.
Yeah.
Okay, from that, then you're like, yes, I like more of this style than this style. Right? Just go feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Go take your time.
Yeah.
Because it's a life and death thing. You want to be comfortable with it. You want to be confident with it, right?
Right. I
Confident.
mean, even if it's not a life or death thing, you want to be, if you're getting into it just to
Yeah.
learn and practice, you want to be comfortable with what you're doing.
Correct.
Oh yeah,
That's
you
a
don't want to be like
huge
as
step.
you're pulling the trigger. You don't want to this is going to hurt. This is going to whatever,
Right.
And I will say, I will give one nod towards Walther that whenever I walk into a gun shop, Walthers always fit very good in my hands.
Right.
Like a 4-inch model
Yeah.
fits like perfect.
I'm always that way with
And
the
they're
SIGs.
so comfortable.
Yeah, SIGs.
SIGs fit my hand really well.
SIGs, 1911s.
1911s usually are the depth of the grip from trigger to heel is a little long for my little hands.
But then the Rock Island with their 9mm, like from the 45 to a 9,
Yep.
It's a little bit slender. It's a little bit more nicer to hold.
Yep.
It's just time.
Mm-hmm.
But
I bought a used, I believe it was an XD 45 off a fella, and it came with like 3 different grip swap pieces,
Yep.
So like the back of it, you can adjust the swell on it,
Mm-hmm.
and the side scales, you can swap those out, and obviously the mag sleeves that you can put over to adjust the grip on that. I really like that because I could tune it to my hand. So although you end up fitting it just to your hand and then putting that stuff away and never looking at it again, it's nice to be able to tune that gun to your grip.
Oh, absolutely.
Because once that pistol fits and you're proficient with it,
That's
it's
all
hard to
matters.
argue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's just success.
Lord have mercy. But
Well, it's a girls' night.
yep.
We
All right.
talked about girls in the Bible, girly guns.
Now, so we
Now
talk
we're going to talk about some girly drinks.
some
There you
girly drinks, and for
I didn't know we had tequila here.
that's true. But what we're talking
Malibu.
about, what we have here tonight is our
What's that, Ciroc?
Oh yeah.
is our
Hypnotic.
Pine Bluffs Distilling gin. We have, it's a very light gin. It's a summer gin, we pretty much call it, right? It's very citrus forward. You're not getting slapped by pine needles. It's a very easy drinker. Next to it here, this is this one here. Next to it with a little bit darker color, we have a barrel aged gin that we release once a year, that after we dump our 5-grain whiskey and for our single barrel, and then we'll fill that back up with gin, let it sit for a year, right? So it gets this darker color to it, right? And it has the flavor on it is awesome. Goes good in a gin and tonic. If you want something a little different, it just, they're nice. One thing's about gin is you have to play with proofage, right? So if you go too high or too low, there's a soapiness that comes with gin.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to start playing around with that a little bit. If you can get too high or too low, and you start getting a soapy taste. So that's why we start hammering down our gin. It's a vodka based gin. So we'll take our vodka and we'll run it through our still 3 to 4 times till consistently 190 proof. Then we'll proof it down to 100, and then we do 15 gallons at a time with our vodka and add our aromatics and let them sit for 48 hours. And then we run it through one of our smaller stills, and then this comes out, this product, and it's a very
Pretty tasty. There's a lot of people that if they don't like gin,
They'll still like
should
that.
actually try Pine Bluffs Distilling gin because, like you said,
It's
you don't
so
taste
smooth.
the pine needles. The juniper's so mild in it.
Yep.
And the how many different botanicals? are
Oh,
in?
so there's at least over 4, right? So the juniper, the lime, the orange, the star anise, coriander, yep, juniper, yep. So there is 4 to 5 in there but more citrus forward than, like I said, juniper. But it's a very, very, very tasty gin. But you guys all have some in front of you guys there. Just
We have the barrel aged.
Barrel aged.
the barrel aged
So,
in front of
what's
us
the
now.
proof on the regular gin right
90.
now? Is 90
So
proof?
90 on the regular, and it's printed, so that's a production proof.
Yep.
And then this bottle's 53.11%,
So when you put
which is
that
106.22.
gin in
My math
a oak
works.
barrel,
Mhm.
does it gain alcohol volume?
That part, I would be BSing if I was to say that just flat out. I knew enough into it that I couldn't tell you if it's
Or you have just proofed this one down to where it tasted non-soapy
correct.
coming out of the barrel.
Yep.
Well,
I
it's
can imagine that a year in the barrel wouldn't change a wild amount.
No.
It probably hit an initial
that
function.
didn't even
and then-
smell,
Right.
a lot like gin coming out of the barrel.
No,
You
you
can sure
get
smell
that
the-
citrus, you get that little bit of oak in there, right, from the barrel.
but then there's that hints from that 5-grain whiskey that was in there before. You're picking up some stuff that's, oh man, juniper, the citrus,
It's just got a good nose on it.
It does.
Yeah.
for gin, right?
It's got a good smeller.
Yeah.
And leaving it in the barrel for a whole year, that really mellows that out.
for that proof, right?
Yeah.
Like most of that proof is
It kind of takes all the edges off all your sharp flavors of your citrus and your juniper
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all kind of have edges that grab a hold of you when you drink it. And when the barrel aged stuff, what I like about it is that it's kind of just smoothed it off. It gets the flavor profile kind of rolls instead of just
Yeah.
going, gosh, oranges,
Yeah.
Yeah.
juniper.
yeah. Yep.
And in a mixed drink, the ladies up front, my God, they make delicious mixed drinks with this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They've just
That's
got
not
it
hard
tuned.
to do though.
Oh,
Not
man.
Right.
this.
With this,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
like-
literally
It's so citrusy. It goes pretty well in the summer.
pretty much
drink.
anything. Yeah. It's anything you want to do with it. Just play around, man. It's just delightful.
Colton here loves gin.
That's his,
I'm a big gin fan.
that's his favorite.
He's got half of that right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be good in a martini.
I'm certainly a whiskey guy through and through. But
Yeah.
if someone poured this and said, man, I want you to have this, it's really good, or they bought it for me for free,
Right.
I wouldn't have heartburn drinking it. Now, you give me pretty much any
Careful.
of your productions on the street gins, and I probably would just say
Give it back
thanks.
to you.
So
Thanks,
And
no
I-
thanks.
or I just shoot it and get done with it and then chase it with something good.
So when I do tastings around the state, right? Everybody says, "Oh, I don't like gin." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"What don't you like about gin?" Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like that
The whole
piney
thing.
taste or whatever.
Juniper.
Gin.
Juniper, right?
Gin
Like
in
that-
it?
there's,
Yeah.
there's just that side of it that I don't like. I was like, well, okay, cool. I was like, here, do you like vodka? Yeah. So give them a little bit of vodka and be like, you like that one? Cool. It's made with the same stuff, right? Now
Yeah.
smell it. Okay, cool. Now take a small little sip and tell me what you think. Like, just try it before you knock it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
take a little sip. And then after they try it, like, wow, impressive. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it is. That's what part of our stuff, right? Is getting people to try it. Look at Colton; he's just shaking his head, be like, "Ooh,
He's the first one to finish it.
Where's the
Proud of you,
whiskey
Colton.
at?
yeah, yeah,
That's what he's after now.
yeah."
We experienced the same thing you was talking about, Mitch, where people just, they've tasted that junipery gin, and gin, when they hear the word gin, it just scares them off.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's pretty tough to get them to just try that. But once they do, I've had whole bars say, you know what, this is going to be our gin.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We're getting rid of that.
Yeah.
It's
that other
not the
stuff we
norm.
have.
No, it's not at all.
Well, I mean, your usual well gin is Beefeaters. I mean, let's all come to a basic
Tanqueray,
agreement on that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's literally a
Bombay.
junk
Bombay,
gin.
yeah.
Yeah.
The dry gins, and it's just like,
Mhm. Yeah.
ooh.
There I was in Israel.
I was thinking back to that shot I took for my 21st. Gee,
Right.
Why would I even?
My buddies and I were in Israel, and we were on the escorted bus back to the camp we were staying at, and we stopped into this gas station that had a full bar in the back. Whatever, I'm not judging. We partook in it. We go to the back, and the guys are like, "Doran, you drink gin, you drink whiskey, you drink hard stuff. You pick the shots." And I was like, and it was like 100 degrees outside. We've been sweating all day, you know. And I was like, "Boys, you don't want to do that, because I'm gonna set you up for failure. Because that's why we're friends." So we're on this tour bus with mostly ineffectual AC, and we're all hot, and sweaty, and miserable, and a bunch of military dudes. So
I mean, the windows were down and the wind wasn't blowing.
no,
That was nice.
no, the windows were all up. Yeah, they pretended there was AC, there was not. Yeah, so we're all dying, and I was like, "All right, boys," and I leaned over to the bartender and I said, "Let's get quads of Beefeaters."
Oh,
Ooh. So those super tall shot glasses,
Yeah.
you know, and he just screwed that plastic cap off of that plastic jug with a handle, and I went, "Yeah, buddy," because my dad broke my teeth on gin. That was my dad's drink of choice, so I was familiar. So he glug 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 right down the line, and these boys, we all did the shots, and I knew I was going to struggle through it, but I'd be all right because I knew what I was doing. These other fellows, half of them had never had gin before. Nonetheless, a quadruple shot of straight beef bottom end gin.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, that bus bathroom was full all the way back to the camp. There was guys in there calling dinosaurs the whole way home.
Boat surfing when I was up in Alaska.
Ugh.
We ran out of beer. We ran out of everything else. And then my buddy was decided, he was like, hey, what about this Tanqueray? You're like, I don't like gin. And then still, I don't like gin, but I like this gin. But we, next thing you know, we were up on top of the boat surfing.
Oh yeah.
Just
I like them in martinis, and that's about the only way.
Yeah.
I used to drink gin, and this, it's like butter.
it's butter. It's very easy drinking.
Yeah,
But-
Colton, let's hear it.
It just takes me back to many, many memories when I was way younger. I had a buddy that him and his dad cleaned out this person's basement for him, and he brought back a whole table like this full of booze, and because they told him whatever you find that you want down there, you can have. And there was so much Beefeater's gin, and we drank a lot of daiquiris one night with Beefeater gin.
Oof.
And on top of that, we also finished off a fifth of Galliano that was had that much out of it. And we did a lot of bad things.
Oh, it's just so many bad choices in one run.
Exactly. Yeah, I woke up dry heaving. That's how I woke up, and it's like, all right, no, never being that stupid again.
A Spody or a Jungle Juice and just dumping everything in there. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I used to always just eat the fruit.
Did you?
Yeah.
Everybody else would be pouring drinks and all this stuff, and I just have a solo cup full of fruit. And I just walk around and I'd peel a little piece out of that orange and eat it. Ooh, there we go.
Ooh, piece of candy.
I mean, just like you would hold a Glencairn and just sip a whiskey, I would just dabble in that fruit.
Mm.
And man, people thought I was crazy, but I was good, man. It was great. I didn't drink all
nobody
that.
else was after the fruit.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get as much of that sugar, once that stuff starts to settle a little bit, you get all the sugar fruit. And I don't like fruit punch anyway. I'd rather eat just straight fruit. Yeah. So for me, that was the way to go.
Ran away too.
It's right over there on the. You need to get that taste of gin out of your mouth.
With one gallon. Oh, it's about the one you got.
The straight rye.
Yep.
I was like, can you be more specific? I didn't see that part.
Yeah, there's some definite greatness in that gin. It's just wow.
It's gin.
It's
still gin.
Still gin.
I always tell people just try it because it's not the normal. It's still really good, but it's also still gin.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty solid offering, but on the typical run of the drinks here, the spirits
Fill it
here,
up?
No.
it's certainly on the spirit side.
You got a lot of that gin to get out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks, sir.
We're drinking the straight rye whiskey here right now.
I'll
This
take
is
some of that. Thank you.
the same mash as the Joe Pickett.
Rye bourbon.
Was that rye bourbon?
Rye
Joe Pickett was?
bourbon is the Joe Pickett.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was just straight rye.
Nope. So what we're kind of talking about right now is for next release is going to be a rye, but we're kind of in talks with that right now. So
Yeah.
but it is for
A
that
lot more barrel and a lot less gin.
Yes.
But for everybody else who's listening right now, that straight rye right there.
Yep.
For people that do not like rye, and same as gin, people that don't like
your
gin,
fancy.
that has a caramel taste to it, and 5%, a little under 5% oats, or a little silkiness in there. It's a solid drink at 98 proof. Dude,
That is delicious.
super good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not a rye guy. There's probably 3 that I like. There was a Willet special release rye that I liked. Wilderness Trail
Yep, they do a good
has
job.
a pretty decent rye that I like. And I'm talking I like as in I would drink it all night in a Glencairn all night. There's a lot of ryes I can drink 1 or 2 drinks of, but then I'd like to wander from it. But this is definitely one of the ryes.
For a Wyoming rye, you know what I mean? Like you're not
For any
finding-
rye.
for
it's
any
good.
rye, like there is,
Any rye.
but made in Wyoming, right here, 15 miles from our distillery. All those grains come from.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about something, everything right here, besides the botanicals, is all right here.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that's the part where we're farm to flask, where keep everything local, keep everything, keep your economy, keep everything right here.
That's one thing really nice about this area is the farmers work together.
Yeah.
They've actually learned how to grow crops to produce for the distillery to give them that quality grain that they need to make the best. And
That says
I
a
tell
lot
you
about
what,
your relationship with the community because
Yeah.
a farmer's got to take a lot of risks to start getting better at growing
For sure.
a rye around here, which is really an unpopular plant to grow around here.
100%.
absolutely. Who likes rye? Nobody wants that in their
Yeah,
field.
everybody's
Nobody.
trying to cut it out of their wheat fields because
Yeah.
it's
But what
Yeah.
that start at? I want to say it was a guy's FFA project for. Yeah, I don't remember the year exactly, but it was like he started out like he's probably 60 something right now. Fred Macy, right?
Fred Macy. He's our rye guy.
He's
Shout
our
out
rye
to
guy.
him.
He was like, yeah,
You know Fred.
yeah,
He'll come sign your bottle for you.
yep.
If you want.
He goes.
He is so,
I want to say it was a
I like
FFA project back in the day, and then it just like no one else would grow rye for us because, like I said, he was like, "You want to feel the rye? Sure, no problem. I got you." And then this is what we come up with from what he does, and
That Bert's dad, right?
Bert's brother.
brother.
Brother. That's right.
Yep.
So I was thinking the other day, your grains actually never leave a 15-mile radius from this distillery
They don't have to.
because they grow up, they get harvested, they get used, then they go on the truck and they get processed and put back in the dirt, all within 15 miles of here.
Yep, exactly.
I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, "That's pretty cool."
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
It's local.
Yeah.
Local.
Yeah.
But when you talk about like Wyoming, it takes everywhere is a drive, right? Everywhere's got places to be. Well, you bring everything right down to the heart of it, and this is what makes our community thrive, right? Is
Yeah.
farming and ranching. And
I
this
mean,
is
15-mile radius around here, you might as well say it's 1 block away in a city.
correct.
I mean,
For Wyoming standards,
it's 17
100%.
miles to Albin, you know, and that's the next town
That's
up
it?
that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a nice drive, too.
How many pounds? You put you on the spot here, Mitch, a little bit.
don't give away the recipe.
How many pounds of grain does it take to make a barrel?
So about 1,000 pounds.
Yeah,
It's a 1,000.
1,000 pounds of grain goes into one of these babies.
Yep. No matter if it's like I said, it's from corn to a rye bourbon wise is corn, rye, and then malted
Oats.
barley. But for a straight rye, you've got to be over 60% to be qualified as a whiskey, right? So it's 60% rye, and then it has to be the opposite of that for a bourbon, right? But a bourbon has to be a minimum of 2 years in a fresh oak barrel, right? A whiskey, all it has to do is touch oak. It doesn't have to rest, but we treat it all the same. We still are going to let it age for 2 years, minimum of 2 years.
You're talking a bourbon has to be 60%.
No,
No,
the rye.
a rye
has to be
Okay, I get that.
50%.
Straight rye whiskey has to be 60% rye.
but we treat it all the same. And what it all comes down to as well is the barrels.
Bourbon has to be 60% corn.
So
You can
so
just dump some out on
660
the
pounds
table,
of corn
bro.
right now, and then it has to be the
I've seen
same
with this table.
going the opposite way for a whiskey for a rye. 60 plus, if I remember correctly.
What kind of
Sure
tours
it
are you
says on
giving?
there.
The good ones.
So
You call me next time you do one.
this is
Yeah, but-
68%, says it right here on the label, 68% rye, 14% malted white wheat, 14% malt, and then 4% oats. So,
So white wheat's something that's not real common.
nope. No, there's a lot of different flavors for each thing, right? There's from your malt has to be a certain malt because it brings out the flavor and the taste and helps create the enzyme in the creation of the alcohol through the mash process.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
But as far as the mash bill and everything's concerned as well, is just as important as the barrel.
Yeah.
Right? We went through a couple different barrels and we found a barrel that
Yeah, don't give that away.
no.
That's what makes Pine Bluffs Distilling, and I feel
Yeah.
Pine Bluffs Distilling is the barrels that they have made.
Yep. They are outstanding. They char the barrels. We do a char 3. So 1 to 4. 4 being dark char. We do a 3. It is fantastic. They take the wood scraps and they burn it with those extra wood scraps, and then they turn it on the side and they rotate it until it actually gets right to where they're wanting for that. Those professional barrel makers, kick butt.
Man, if you guys have never done a cooperage tour and
There we
watch
go.
them
Thank
build,
you.
Yes,
build
I was
barrels.
like, man, what is the
That's
word?
the word I was looking for as well. I was like,
Yeah, coopers, build
Coopers.
in
Yeah.
a cooperage. If you've never done a cooperage tour, highly recommend.
Yeah.
It is as, if not more important than doing a distillery tour. Because after you do a bunch of distillery tours, whether it's, the Bardstown tour or any other series of distillery tours, you're going to start to find a lot of similarities and wonder what you're paying for the tour for.
Yeah.
But if you start going to cooperage tours, man, you can really start tying together some characteristics
if
of
you
whiskey.
can. There's some cooperages they will not let anybody in
Yeah,
there,
correct.
unless
That's
you're
fair.
an owner or anything like that.
That's
They
fair.
just there's too much stuff happening, and you have to get invited to do it.
Yeah, they have to be. I mean, it's a pretty high risk operation. The guys doing the work are thoroughly focused on exactly what they're doing.
It's
right
a dance
then, so,
when they're
yeah.
doing it. It's literally a dance, and how they keep all the barrels and all the wood slats and
Set all
everything
the
all
staves in
rolling
together
and just
and,
all
set
rolling
the
and keep
rings
it all
and burn
going.
it. Yep.
Yep, it's a very
And those fires, like, you think it's like this little fire that's like dainty and certainly control. No, that damn thing's like a bonfire.
Yeah.
And they just drop that barrel on there and pray for the best while it's burning, and then go, oh yeah, okay, there we go.
That looks
That's
right.
going to be a 4-jar. We're going to put that over there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that wild, but the fire it's pretty wild. Like you're expecting like a fire the size of maybe like a 30-gallon drum, or I don't know what a good reference is off the top of the head, but you're expecting like a smaller fire, and it's not. It's a blaze of glory, if you will. But it's neat to watch those, just like watching anybody else that's super skilled at their job. Dude.
Yeah.
Right.
A cooper it's a dance is a really good reference.
Yep.
It's an art form, and I would argue that it's probably one of the dying art forms.
Oh,
So,
100%.
There's a lot of them here lately.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody
Computers and hard work are
you
changing the game.
You see the push right now. A few years ago, or 10, 15 years ago, it was all, hey, come be a technical analyst and sit behind a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then now the push again is
Get a degree, make the money.
Right.
Okay, well, what about the guys that fix diesels?
Correct. Or to keep America running and everything, the trade schools and everything like that. That's
Shout out to Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe.
Dude,
The
dirty
Mike
job.
Rowe.
Dirty job, dude. You did a great
If you know
job.
anything about that dude, he has a foundation that does strictly support for trade tools.
Good grief.
Trade schools. Yeah.
Come on now.
Trade schools and the support of all things in that industry. So
whatever
that's a
it
really
is,
cool
too,
deal.
which is great.
Mhm.
It's not limited. It don't matter if you're going to trade school and you need help.
Yep.
Micro Foundation is a good way to go.
I mean, there's many others, but I know that one's pretty high profile and it's been around for a while. And you want to talk about a dude that's passionate about it. He either lies really, 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 really good, or he is that passionate about it because he does a lot for it. So that's a cool deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're there.
It's been a fun night.
It
It's been a
has.
fun
I
women's
agree.
night.
Mm-hmm. Without the women, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Hang on now. Hey.
We'll get some women in here at some point. Like it's
Yeah.
if they want to come and
I'm down
participate.
for it.
Yeah.
It don't matter to me.
They're just bashful about being on the camera. That's all. So
With a bunch of guys
Yeah.
and guns.
and guns.
And the whiskey.
But we got women's guns. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll let them bring their guns back.
We might have to do something a little bit lighter for them.
Well, there's gin.
And we'll get into vodka, talking about vodka one night. I mean, a good grief, I've never tasted a vodka that has never tasted better than what Pine Bluffs Distilling makes. Most vodka doesn't have a flavor. Theirs does.
Yeah,
There's a grain vodka, and it is one of the best I feel.
I agree.
Let's close this thing up a little bit, and Father, just thank you for this time that we've had tonight, the great discussions that we've had, and I just pray and hope that anyone that watches this little podcast has learned something from it, whether it be something about the Bible, how we can live a life better in ourselves, that the Bible teaches us that it's okay to protect ourselves, and just to live a life that's upstanding and an example, to others. And I just pray that somebody's learned something about guns, that especially women, that they need to find the right handgun that fits them well. And I just also pray that nobody would hold it against us that we have added a little bit of whiskey into our podcast, as nowhere in the Bible does it say we should not drink. Just don't abuse it. Don't get drunk. Treat it with respect and enjoy it. Father, we thank you for your time. We enjoy your time. And just pray that we would look to you for all of our guidance and strength in the coming days. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.